everybody. Today we're making es cendol, which is a very popular Indonesian dessert drink, and certainly for my family and me, it's the perfect drink. It's a perfect refreshing drink and our favorite. I learned to make es cendol from a good friend of mine, Tante Marie. My mom used to make cendol all the time, but I was never around to, really see what she did. So I got a second chance at learning how to make it since Tante Marie is so generous and kind and will teach me anything I want to learn. For the first layer of the drink, what we need is 1.5 cups of water, 1/2 cup of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of just any kind of green coloring, food coloring. Then what you do is you boil all this together and put it through I happen to have a cendol pan, a special cendol pan that my friend from the Netherlands sent me. And it looks like this. And it's very, very handy for me because it fits right over my pasta pan that I have all the ice water in that all the cendol will fall into. If you don't have one of these, and for my American friends, I mean, who has them? Because you can't get it here. You can take any old aluminum pan, and if you're handy with a drill, you can just drill your own holes in it. And what Tante Marie does is she just has a pipe tin, a pipe tin made out of aluminum, and she's stuck all these holes in it, and it works fine for her. So if you can't get one of these, just make do with what you have. I mean, a pie tin, who doesn't have those? So after the second layer of the cendol is the jackfruit. We also put jackfruit in there, which gives it a really nice, wonderful taste. And you do have to cube the jackfruit like this. And 1 can will be probably enough for 3 of the batches that I'm gonna make. Each batch probably serves 5-6 people. So I usually have more than that my family consists of a whole lot more than just 5 people. So I have already cut up the whole can, and I will need that because my family will come over after we're done, and we will have a cendol party. Now, to make this a dessert drink, we do need sugar, right? We need 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of gula jawa, which is a Javanese sugar or a palm sugar, 1/4 cup of water, and 1/8 teaspoon of vanilla. Now for the coconut milk part of the drink, what we need is a can of coconut milk, 1/3 teaspoon salt, and pandan leaves. Now I have this short-cut pandan leaves that you can get in any Asian store in the frozen section. Normally, I would have used the long version of the pandan leaves, which also is available. But instead of the 2 long leaves, I'm just going to use 5 of these little short leaves. Now we're going to make the actual cendol. And what we need is for the water to be boiling. And then you can add your sugar and your 1/4 teaspoon of food coloring. If that's not green enough to your liking, you can always add more. But that looks pretty green, so that's good. For the starch, you put it in a different mug or bowl. You add your water to it. It's just plain cold water. And you stir until all the starch is gone. By the way, Marie has discovered that starch is better to use than any other kind of flour or starch, just regular cornstarch, because if you have any leftovers for tomorrow, the cendol will still be soft, while with some of the other starches, the cendol becomes hard, so you don't want that. So now this is kind of a tricky thing. You have to dump this concoction. It's kind of a runny concoction. You have to dump that all at once and start stirring. Now you stir that for 3 minutes, and you just have to keep stirring it. It's just 3 minutes, so it's not very long. So then what you have to do is you pour it all into your cendol pan or whatever you choose. Kind of scrape it all in there. I've poured it into my cendol pan, which sits over some ice water. It has to be ice water because the cendol needs to be able to be chilled right away. There. See all the little green guys down there? Now we're going to make the coconut milk part of the drink. We need 1 can of coconut milk that we're going to pour into just any kind of container. Then I need to fill this 3/4 of a can full with water. I'm going to add my salt, my pandan leaves. So now I'm going to bring this to a boil and then let it simmer for 10 minutes. This has simmered now for 10 minutes because we want that pandan flavor to be released into the water. And then what we do is we just add this, we keep the leaves in there, and we add it to the coconut milk. And there is the coconut milk portion of the wonderful cendol. Now we're going to make the syrup to put in our drink. On medium is good. And we will add 1/4 cup of water, 1/2 cup of the Javanese sugar or gula jawa, and 1/2 cup of the brown sugar. It doesn't matter light or brown, just brown sugar. And you don't need to pack it either. One more thing is 1/8 of a teaspoon vanilla. I'm just going to eyeball it. That's probably 1/8 there. Now we'll stir it and stir until all of the sugar has melted. Now this is ready, and this was the last part of the drink. So now the next step will be making the actual drink. Well, the reason I cut the gula jawa in little pieces is that it would melt easier. If you leave it in a big chunk, it would take forever to melt. So that's why I cut it in little pieces. Now we'll start building this great, wonderful Indonesian dessert drink. Now this is totally your personal preference, how sweet you want it. But I would think we could start with 3 teaspoons of the syrup. We'll do 3 scoops of cendol. And 1 scoop of the jackfruit. that's all cubed up. Jackfruit, you really don't want a lot of because it's very strong and you just don't want it to overpower the whole drink. Now I'll add the coconut milk. And a ton of crushed ice. There. And here we have Cendol, my favorite drink.